Welcome back to my channel, YouTube, and the family. Today's video is a sequel to the series, I Married a White Guy. Now 3 racist judges are trying to annihilate me. This will be somewhat of a recap. If you're not familiar with my story, I'm a victim of hate crimes by the state of California. Multiple court officers, agencies, law enforcement, and judicial officers are a party to hate crimes and fraud, cover-up, and possible RICO violations. I was entangled in a 23-year marriage to a white male abusive alcoholic who has ties to the family court. On September 23rd, 2020, 8:30 p.m. at night, sheriff deputies broke in my home during COVID and on orders of racist Judge Sarah Heidel. If y'all been watching, y'all know this is racist Judge Sarah Heidel. On the orders of racist Judge Sarah Heidel, the city of the industry sheriff's department broke down my back door. They broke in my home again, 8:30 p.m. at night during COVID. They broke down my back door. I was inside on the phone talking to someone, and I heard the door break, and I heard people walking through and them talking to each other, saying clear as if they were doing a drug bust. Sheriff's deputies, I also have that on video. As I move on, I'll explain. I'm reading because I'm trying to stay in sync and not get off topic. I struggle because I'm suffering from depression and anxiety. It's better when I read. Sheriff deputies illegally took possession of my home, violating my rights under the Fourth Amendment, illegal search and seizure. The sheriff put my son and myself in the street during COVID, during the worst pandemic in years. My son and I have been living in a bed-bug-infested hotel for almost 3 years. Shortly after we were put in the street, the abusive alcoholic illegally took my possession out of my 3,000 square foot home, and he gave over 20 years of acquired property to Box and Go storage. After paying $500 a month to the company for almost 2 years, actually for over 2 years, I think, I started paying in 2021, 2022, like 2.5 years now. I'm sorry. Please follow along. This is really very hard for me. After paying $500 a month to the company for over 2 years, Box and Go is now trying to extort me for $2,815. I'm suffering from debilitating anxiety and depression. I want to discuss in detail my mental condition. I'm a Black woman who is a victim of government-sanctioned hate crimes. California is an anti-Black state. Black people are harmed every day in the state of California. I've tried for over 3 years to obtain justice. California judicial system intentionally and maliciously violated my constitutional rights. The government is aware of how the stress of fighting justice weighs on the psyche of Black people. California government agencies who are guilty of racial bias and discrimination are aware of the victims who struggle with debilitating depression. These agencies count on the victims being unable to withstand the trauma. And I hope I'm explaining this properly. I have to read this because, see, I just go blank. My mind won't let me go there. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that when they harm us, they are aware of what happens to the psyche in these situations. And what they're depending on is that they can make it so hard to get justice that it wears us down. And I'm going to demonstrate that in this new series, okay? Going back, the depression negatively impacts my mood, sleep, my whole body, behavior, and cognitive abilities. For the past 3 years, I've struggled to function and perform daily functions. The most impactful is the lack of energy. I said that's the most impactful, but there's several things I'm experiencing, and I have for maybe, I don't know for so long, for probably maybe a year now or longer. I was depressed, but like in the past year, I don't know how long. I'm really struggling with sense of time, but I have like, see, when I'm not reading, it doesn't, I can't, my mind won't think. My mind won't talk about it. It's like, and I think it's my mind's way of trying to block it out. But what I was trying to say is that I've got debilitating fatigue, like beyond belief. Let me keep reading and I'll try. I want to, the words don't come when I try to do it on my own. That's why I have to write it out. The most impactful is the lack of energy. I am constantly exhausted and fatigued. I have low to zero motivation. I spend much of the day in the dark. Opening the shades or allowing light in the room causes overwhelming anxiety or anxiousness. I lay in the dark, going in and out of consciousness. The sleep is never long or continuous. I go in and out of sleep. The court continues to make it difficult for me to obtain justice. They continue to require that I file documents that is almost impossible for me in my depression state. Filing the documents would cause me to relive the trauma. My brain would literally block the thoughts. When speaking to an attorney, I struggle with recalling the events. I experience a mental block. And why I'm saying that, they eagerly deem me vexatious. And I'll talk about that later, okay? That's one of the major hate crimes that they did to me. Judge Sarah Heidel. So I have to get an attorney. When I file things, they won't accept it. So I have to talk to an attorney. And when I talk to an attorney, and it's happening now, I get real bad anxiety. When I talk to an attorney, I'm sorry, but I'm having the anxiety is better when I just read. But I want to tell you guys, when I talk to an attorney, they ask you questions and stuff. And I be sounding crazy. I be trying to tell them. I be trying to explain. I lose my train of thought. My thoughts get jumbled. I struggle to find words to express what I'm trying to say. And I want to explain that. So, and what I believe, these governmental agencies that violate the rights of Black people, that they're aware. This is not their first rodeo. I'm not the first Black person that they violated, and the way that they did it, and in the ease of how they did it, and how all the different departments were a party to the cover-up, and the violations indicates that this is something that they do often. So what I'm trying to say, when I talk to an attorney, you guys, it's so hard. I'm feeling sick right now. If you ever talk to an attorney, they ask you questions. Or they want, it's hard for me to say it and sound intelligent and get to the points as to what is important to them. Because I want to tell them everything. And then when they start asking questions, I start getting really anxious and sometimes frustrated. And I am being explicit because this is how Black people are always violated. I'm a very strong, tenacious woman. And what propels me, and I probably have this written in here, what propels me, what makes me keep going is God knows what they've done to other people. Okay, so let me go back where I was. They continue to require that I file documents that is almost impossible for me in my depressive state. Filing the documents will cause me to relive the trauma. My brain will literally block the thought. When speaking to an attorney, I struggle to recall the events. I experience a mental block. My mind would literally shut down. The thoughts are jumbled. My memory is failing. So for example, if I try to create the necessary documents, you guys, I would literally there's some documents I must file. There's some of the documents that I must keep track of. I have a very serious difficulty focusing. Different thoughts and situations trigger depilating anxiety, and I hope I'm saying this right. So what I'm saying is, in order to do the documents, I have to relive what's happened, what has occurred, and it really it's hard for me. And then my cognitive ability is I'm suffering. See, I struggle with recall of saying the words. My cognitive um, my cognitive skills are impacted by this. So, like if I'm trying to write something, like I'm writing, like the judge just did all kind of shit to me, guys. So I go for memory and I'm writing it, and sometimes I don't remember if I wrote it. If I already included that. It's been times that I've included the same thing multiple times because I don't remember. And this is all a result of anxiety and depression. And I want to talk more about that, but I think I better stay on track with what I've created. My memory is failing. For example, if I'm trying to create the necessary documents, I would literally forget what I already covered. I struggle keeping thoughts and supporting documents in order. There are some of the documents that I must keep track of. I'm unable to calm myself or make the anxiousness in my stomach disappear. I don't think I did it in order, you guys. Different thoughts. Okay, I'm so sorry. And this is like how I'm struggling right now. It's how I struggle every single day. And the point that I'm making is they do this to us on purpose. I'm a college educated black woman who is very tenacious. I have grit. I'm a Cancer. And I say that if you're into astrology, you know Cancers are really very tough. And I'm getting my ass kicked. And what keeps me going is they're kicking my ass. God knows what they're doing to other people. I'm in California. I'm in Los Angeles. The mayor's name is Karen Bass. I called her and other black people in politics in these positions to black overseer. Just today I saw her tweet about homelessness. And black people are homeless in the state because of the government genocide. So I lost my spot and it didn't make sense, so I'm going to try again. There are some of the, these are some of the documents that I must keep track of. I'm losing my place, you guys. I have a very difficult time focusing. Different thoughts and situations trigger debilitating anxiety. I have an overwhelming feeling of fear. I am unable to calm myself or make the anxiousness in my stomach disappear. And I'm saying that because, like, at this moment, I have anxiety. And I've been pretty strong my whole life. Like, anxiety is something that people experience. If you're going to have a speech, or you're in a competition, or you're going to get a job, or like different things causing anxiety. And it's just anxiousness. I think it's excitement is what is going on in your brain. And it's happening right now to me. And usually, like if you're going to do a speech or you are going to negotiate something, like something that you're going to do that's going to cause you like anxiety, mentally strong people can kind of coax themselves. Like, I was in an abusive marriage for a long time. So I experienced anxiety and depression. And I have a history of different things from being in this relationship with this abusive alcoholic. And it's times that I would will myself to push through the depression and anxiety. And what I'm saying to you today, like I have the anxiousness. I can't will it away. Like if I'm reading something and it's causing me anxiousness, I talk to myself like, it's okay. It's going to be okay. I do my breaths and I try to will the feeling away, but it doesn't go away. Different thoughts and situations trigger debilitating anxiety. I have an overwhelming feeling of fear. I am unable to calm myself or make the anxiousness in my stomach disappear. The court illegally entered a judgment on July the 1st, 2020 during COVID. This is one of the things that they did, okay? Where I could, COVID, you couldn't do anything. I couldn't find a lawyer. I couldn't go to the court. I couldn't do anything. He had an attorney, and I'm going to talk about that in detail as to the legal nature of everything that transpired. I didn't have anyone. So an attorney can navigate or know what to do to navigate in situations like COVID. We were not to go or do anything. On July the 1st, 2020, there was a stay-at-home order. We couldn't do anything. But yet they proceeded. And I'm going to get into detail as to everything that happened. The court illegally entered a judgment on July the 1st, 2020 during COVID. I was unable to respond or take action because COVID. Today is September 5th. Actually, it's the 9th. It takes me a long time to do this. It takes me a long time to get stuff done. I started doing this on the 5th. Today is the 5th of September, 2023. I have never read the order because the trauma causes debilitating depression. The court illegally awarded the abusive alcoholic $150,000 of marital assets to the abusive alcoholic. So what they did was, they did. You guys are gonna tell. I'm gonna tell you this, okay? I married a white guy, and 3 racist judges are trying to annihilate me. I did that when it was in the midst of what it was happening. I was rambling. I tend to ramble anyway. I'm like that. I'm a Gemini moon, so I talk a lot. But it was very hard for a viewer or a legal analyst or attorney or a reporter to really follow along because I was rambling. Pretty much like I'm doing now. So why am I saying that? I'm telling you that because sorry, I lost my train of thought and I forgot what I was trying to say. I'm talking about the fact that I haven't read the order. I scanned through it. For example, they made me pay. Okay, let me tell you, my husband makes over $185,000. I think he was at like 225, 220, 210, but he got a new job and it's published. And when I looked, it said he makes 185, but it's probably not everything. Okay, I haven't had a job since 2008. I was in a 23-year abusive marriage with an abusive alcoholic. California is a community property state. It's no fault. I didn't do anything. There was no reason for me to do anything. I was married to him for 23 years. I didn't have to fight or whatever. He should have paid alimony, spousal support, and different things should have occurred. And I'm going to tell you how this all transpired. I'm going to try to stay focused, you guys, so you can follow along, okay? And I know I get sidetracked, but my feelings become involved, and I want to express what the most important thing that I'm trying to show you, that Black people are not equal in this country, that there is a prevailing force that purposely harm Black people. In this case, is going to be a important case to demonstrate that Black people are still not free and equal in this country, that my rights were violated under the 14th Amendment, and that we need additional legislation, specifically in California, because California is an anti-Black state. And if it's a private Yeah, I'm so sorry, you guys. I feel sick because I'm going off script and I have to think about it. If it's a private company, like you're being discriminated at work or, at a store, that's illegal too. But this is the government, okay? So let me get back to what I was saying. I want to make sure I'm recording you guys. I do crazy stuff. So, I'm over 20 minutes, I think, but I'm going to try to make these videos 20 minutes moving forward so they're not that long. So let me push through, okay? It might end up being a little bit, maybe 30 minutes, okay? So I have overwhelming feelings of fear. I was unable to calm myself or make the anxiousness in my stomach disappear. The court illegally entered a judgment on July the 1st, 2020, during COVID. I was unable to respond to or take any action because of COVID. Today, in September 5th, 2023, I've never read the order because the trauma causes debilitating depression, and I go in a really dark space. The court illegally awarded over $150,000 of marital assets to the abusive alcoholic. This time last year, I tried to investigate. What I'm trying to say, you guys, I'm trying to get justice, and because it's so hard for me. Like I'm getting help. Like I have a therapist and like the people that were helping me. I'm so sorry because it really, like, this is what happens. I get it. My mind will not let me talk about it. But my therapist, when I first started seeing her, she was very adamant about getting healthy before I really go and try to deal with the legal aspect of it. I have been trying to do it for over a year. I've been trying to deal with the legal aspect of it, but the courts keep violating my rights. So each time I learn of an issue harm, my mental health worsens. So I will be reading the details of how California committed these hate crimes. I didn't tell you this. So, and you guys, it takes me months to do things because I'm depressed. Okay, about this time last year, I started investigating because they kept doing stuff during COVID when I wasn't in court. They kept having court hearings. Because they put me in the street, they couldn't subpoena me or notify me because they didn't have where I was at. Okay? So they kept having court hearings without me. The court, after they gave this man $150,000 of our marital assets illegally, I learned that they awarded him an additional $30,000 of my money. I haven't had a job since 2008. I was in a 23-year abusive marriage to a white male abusive alcoholic. During the last probably 8 years of our marriage, our household income was probably close to $200,000. I hadn't worked since 2008. What they're trying to do is make it so I don't have any money. They violated my constitutional right by illegally deeming me vexatious, and I'll get to that later. So they made it so I couldn't file things on my own, and I didn't have money to hire an attorney. Okay, so I got a black girl on the phone when I called the court, and she told me that I can sign up and have the documents emailed to me. You guys, I looked at it maybe one time. It was sometime last year, September. I'm going to go through the timeline of everything. And I saw, at this point, Judge Sarah Heidel, Judge Lawrence Riff, and Judge Bruce Iwasaki are the party to the hate crimes. There are other judges involved in this, and I'm struggling to investigate it because my condition is worsening. I'm going off track. Let me stay here and tell you guys. So I will be reading the details of how California committed hate crimes against me. My issue with train of thought in or recalling words is very difficult, so it's best that I prepare the information, then read it. I want to stress that Black people are harmed daily in California. Prior to the trauma, I was strong and very tenacious. I'm motivated by the thought of how many Black people are being harmed in California. California harms Black people maliciously, knowing that the state is set up against Black people. My position is California is an anti-black state that consciously and unconsciously, that consciously and unconsciously harm black people. This is an unspoken rule that it is acceptable and are encouraged to harm black people. Multiple governmental agencies, judicial officers imparted to the hate crime and fraud and cover up the hate crimes. This is a lot longer than I wanted to be because you guys, when I start doing this, I'm going to try my best to say between 20 and 30 minutes so you guys don't get bored or just lose train of thought. I need you to follow along and help me with this, okay? This series, I Married a White Guy. So I haven't really named the series. The last one was I Married a White Guy. Now 3 racist judges are trying to annihilate me. Where I think I'm going with, because this is not just the judges, it's multiple court officers, law enforcement, clerks, the people who do the transcripts, everyone is involved in this. The series is I Married a White Guy. The state of California colluded to commit anti-black hate crimes against me is what I'm going to call it. And I'm going to briefly go through some of this stuff because I've been talking a long time and I really don't want this to be long. I want you guys to be able to look at I want to do like on average 20 minutes of each little thing so you can come back and visit it and you don't lose interest or just not get tired of me rambling. So some of the stuff that they did, I'm going to demonstrate. I'm so sorry, it's hard for me. I gotta stop saying that. That sounds like, Mom, you gotta stop thinking negative. But it's so hard, you guys. And I'm stressing that because I want you to get involved and I want you to help. Because it's not just me. This is happening to me. What are they doing to black people? Okay, so some of the things that happened, that they've done, that they're guilty of, I'm going to demonstrate in this series is that I will demonstrate transparent abuse of judicial discretion by racist Judge Sarah Heidel, Judge Lawrence Riff, and Judge Bruce Iwasaki. You will be presented with evidence of collusion amongst various departments. Officers of the court, Ontario Contreras, who holds the position as the supervisor of the clerk of court, aiding and abetting Judge Sarah Heidel of her evading judicial rules and procedures as they relate to motion to disqualify for racial bias and misconduct. I'm hoping that they're legal professionals or legal experts, not just attorneys, but legal experts that can look at the legal aspect of this. The facts will show criminal behavior involving law enforcement. Judge Sarah Heidel ordered 4 deputies to break in my home at 8:30 p.m. at night on September 23rd, 2020, who threatened to arrest me if I didn't leave my home. I have them on video, you guys. This crime was led by Deputy Polito of the City of Industry Station. Judge Heidel enlisted a deputy from the Pomona Sheriff to intercept the process servers in serving Heidel notice of motion to disqualify. The sheriff's name is Paula. So I'm going to briefly talk on I'm going to see, I can't talk. I'm going to briefly touch on little things, but what I will do on the episodes moving forward, I'm going to go into detail. I just want you to have an overview of everything that they've done to me, and it's beyond a reasonable doubt. So I was trying to have her, Judge Sarah, removed from the case, and to do that, I have to file a motion and serve her. She got the sheriff to intercept it, the motion, the service. So I'll talk about that in detail. The facts will show that Judge Sarah Heidel deprived me of my rights to spousal support as it relates to California Family Code 4321. Judge Heidel willfully deprived me of spousal support on the support in an attempt to sabotage my stake in a divorce between me, a black woman, and an opposing white male. The facts will show Judge Heidel intent was to cause me economic harm, exposing me to physical harm. The facts will show that Bruce Iwasaki heinously deemed me as the abuser to deprive me of economic stability as required by California Family Code 4321, when in fact I was the victim of domestic violence. So what happens is, I don't know this really deep because it's on the order and I really haven't read it. I just know because they gave him all my money. And I kind of glanced at it. It was so long ago. I never sat and read through it. Well, I'm going to tell you what I did and how I was further harmed. So my husband was the abuser. I submitted letters to the court showing from back in 1993 where he apologized. They legally, without evidence, that I was the abuser to deprive me of spousal support. So they didn't have to give me spousal support. And the reason why they did that, because they don't want me to have money to be able to hire an attorney. The evidence will show that the court clerk, supervisor, Arturo Quinteros, assisted Judge Sarah Heidel in evading service of a subpoena in motion to disqualify for racial bias and misconduct. You guys, I may have wrote that twice. I'm telling you, I really have a problem with train of thought and keeping things in order. So I don't know if I'm reading it again or did I write it twice. Judge Sarah Heidel illegally deemed me vexatious, illegally without cause or without due process. Judge Heidel motivation was to retaliate for filing a motion to disqualify her and to prevent me from seeking remedy through the judicial system. Heidel retaliated against me for questioning her apparent racial bias early on in the divorce proceedings. Judge Heidel motivation and actions are because I'm a black female in a litigation with a white male. Judge Heidel violated my rights under the 14th Amendment. Heidel ordered sheriff to deputy to illegal break in my home. See, I'm having the same things twice because, guys, I really have a hard time. I will show how the Los Angeles Family Court illegally sold my home, which was worth over $1 million. The Los Angeles Family Court illegally awarded the proceeds to my husband. So, I didn't sign for this. Okay, they couldn't get an order. They couldn't file. In order for the clerk or for someone else to sign it, they have to have a hearing and they have to subpoena me. They couldn't subpoena me because they didn't know where I was because they put me in the street. And then he sold the home and they gave the money to him. This is horrible, you guys. It gets worse. It gets even worse than this. And I'm smiling and I know I shouldn't be, but I'm still cannot believe that this happened to me. And I'm going to tell you guys this. Wait, I'm going to keep going, but I'm going to tell you something that I really should have I should tell you later on in this series, but I'm going to tell you a couple of things. First of all, Judge Sarah Heidel was not a judge for 2 years when she did this to me. This is, and what the support is that they harm black people in California. The government does. And it's an spoken rule. They harm people. I'm involved in different spaces, and I keep trying to tell y'all California is the most anti-black state in this country, and everybody thinks that Southern, like Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Texas is worse. No, California is anti-black. I was going to tell you something I forgot. The facts will show that I am homeless, not receiving adequate spousal support. My credit was adversely affected by the criminal acts of Los Angeles Family Court. I was unable to qualify or afford home. I've been homeless since September 23rd because she took the money from our assets and paid off my husband's credit cards. They didn't pay mine. So my credit score actually dropped 100 points in 2019 when she didn't order spousal support. She never gave me spousal support. Okay. And I hope that we get some legal experts all over the country to get involved in this, okay? I am unable to qualify or afford housing. My credit was damaged because of lack of support. I am homeless and suffering from the mere fact that I'm a black woman. I have been homeless over 6 months due to the 6 months. See, when I wrote this is when I wrote this. I've been homeless since September 23rd, 2020. The weighted evidence will show that Judge Sarah Heidel systematically bullied me during at every hearing. The weighted evidence will show bias in favor of opposing the white male abusive alcoholic. The evidence will show that, I'm going to pause for a minute because it's something I wanted to tell you guys that was kind of important, but I forgot. Okay, guys, I'm about to wrap this up. This is the first series of I Married a White Guy. Now the state of California is trying to commit, and so I forgot what I said the title was going to be. Oh, I got somewhere on here, but you know what I mean. I married a white guy. Now California is trying to annihilate me, or California has committed anti-black hate crimes. But there are a couple things I want to tell you. So as of this moment, I'm going to read the order. It's nighttime. I'm dealing with something else. You guys, I've been in the bed but confessed at a hotel for over 3 years. And this shit's going to probably be a book because you guys, and I'm laughing, but I'm trying so hard to stick to be okay. It's two things I want to tell you. The fact will show that the court worked in concert with the opposing. Okay, so moving forward, I know I'm on script, but I'm kind of going off script because there's certain things that I want you to know. When I do the other future videos, I am going to make it clear and concise. I'm going to just talk about the facts because I like to talk and I'm social. And I'm a Cancer, so I'm emotional, and I'm a Gemini moon, so I like to speak. And I realize this is about the facts. This is not about my emotions. I am suffering emotionally, but in order to get justice, we need to look at what everything they did was against California state law. This wasn't just the Superior Court. This was the appeals court. This was my attorney. Everyone harmed me. And family, I didn't do anything. I was married to a highly functioning alcoholic, and I was committed to him. I don't want to get into it deeply, but his parents abused him. He's raised like an abusive parenthood. It's just real difficult, and he was adopted. And so to give you an example, these are the things that pulled at my heart when we were together. I had issues with him being abusive since the very beginning. But one day he told me that him and his adopted mom was driving in the car. There was a abandoned dog on the street in the curb. And this is what she said to my husband. She said, if we didn't adopt you, you would be like that dog on the street. And you're going to see that sometimes that I might make excuses for him. This is my husband of 23 years. And he's an alcoholic. So I'm going to, what the last sentence says, the facts will show how the court worked in concert with the opposing. And so this is like the little thing I want to tell you guys. If you're in California, you know this. You might have seen it on the news. If you see how they're doing like a lot of looting, like kids are running in stores and stealing and running out, that's because the main judge. So Judge Sarah Heidel was the racist judge. She's a white Jewish judge. Her name is Judge Sarah Heidel. She's the one who started it. She passed me to her boss. His name is Judge Lawrence Riff. Judge Lawrence Riff was the supervising judge of the family court. So he reported to her. They quietly moved him to the civil department. This is why it's important that everybody in the country gets involved in this. Because as go California, as go the country, family, we need to make an example of California. The California Task Force requested that Judge Lawrence Riff do a no cash bail. Family, he approved the no cash bail to distract or to deflect on what he did to me. So it is an ongoing belief that crimes are committed by black people. That black people commit most of the crimes. So if you're committing crimes, it's what I'm trying to say is that he's trying to act like he's helping black people by doing a no cash bail. And family and reporters, I want you to know Judge Lawrence Riff approved a no cash bail because he's trying to deflect on what he did to me. It's more to this, but I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I've got family, I got so many different things going on. So this is I married a white guy. The state of California is guilty of anti-black hate crimes against me. I am asking you to follow this series. I also have a GoFundMe for legal fees. I've said this before. I know I need to stop because I've talked too much. But I want justice for me and I want to be made whole. But this is an example. This is an opportunity to make an example in the judicial system. If someone's going, you guys, I didn't do anything. And as I tell you my story and all that I've gone through, you're going to see I didn't do anything. I stayed with this man who's abusive to me because I loved him and it was for the good of my family. These people harm me, and you're going to see the transcripts. You're going to see everything. I didn't do anything. I didn't do nothing. And I have been homeless. I haven't seen my things since 2020. My home was 3,000 square feet. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise. When after they put me in the street, my husband, the guy I was married to, James Gibson, he took all my things and he gave it to people in storage. I had nowhere to put it. I was in a hotel. I don't qualify for a home because they let all my credit go into default. And then I'm gonna tell you this part really quickly. It's called Boxing Go. I wrote them a letter in the beginning. They illegally received my stuff. I filed a police report. Okay, I'm gonna get into all of that. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. They illegally took my things. This guy I was married to gave it to them. And when you do a storage, it's going to be one person. No one else can be on it. They text my son and told my son they had our stuff. So they received our property illegally, knowing that he didn't have authorization to give it to them. Right? I wrote them a letter in the beginning, and I said, "Listen, I'm going to pay you in goodwill. That I will resolve this in court when I can, but I'm going to pay you. I don't believe I owe you. I don't believe I have a contract with you. This is a payment in goodwill." Okay? It was like 4 something in the beginning. So just started in 2021. In 2022, I think, I noticed them taking forever to cash my check. So I wrote them. Everything is up. You guys, when you follow this, what's going to be crazy is the evidence is overwhelming. This is how much they harm black people. They don't even, when they do things, they don't even cover themselves. The evidence is overwhelming. So I noticed them cashing my check late. I don't have a lot of money, so I noticed when I put money in the bank for the check that when if it cashes. So on multiple occasions, I'm going from memory, August of 2022, I think like November, December of 2022, I'm saying, why are you guys taking so long to cash my check? They did that because they wanted to charge me late fees. Sometime in March or April, they were insinuating that I owe them $2,815 for late fees. That's impossible. I'm going to go into that in detail, okay? Then my son got an email, a text saying that they're going to auction my stuff. I went to go look for the place. I couldn't even find the place. I haven't seen my property. My house was 3,000 square feet. I had living room sets, clothes, jewelry, purses, food. Like I had a wine cellar. And I haven't seen my things. I'm praying that you guys get involved and you have an interest. I'm a black woman in America. And if you get to know me, if you see, the main thing is I didn't do anything to deserve this. This happened to me merely because I'm black. And the person on the other side of the courtroom was a white person. In California, actively harms black people. This is I Married a White Guy in the state of California is committing anti-black hate crimes against me. I also have a series, Reunite Sandy Speaks, where I'm documenting the inequalities in this country and how black people aren't equal. I sometimes focus on California, but you're going to see in that series, if you're interested, this is how they harm us. Anyway, guys, I've been talking a very long time. It's been a little over 30 minutes, so I guess it's not too bad. I've been known to do 50 minutes. I'm going to start with part 2. It's going to be the very beginning of the divorce and what happened. And I'm going to try my best to write down the important aspects of it. I'm going to read from it. And I'm going to try my best to keep it under 20 minutes. I have a website. Judge Sarah Heidel is a racist. I'll put it in here. Judge Sarah Heidel is a racist.com. And so the videos are here. And also the transcripts will be on that website. I so appreciate you. Please share this video. If you're not black, I do want you to also participate, because what you have to realize is that governmental employees, judges, police officers, there is a bias against black people. And all you guys know that we're not equal in this country. But as a non-black person, these people are corrupt. They don't have morals or ethics. If they're going to harm me in a court case, they shouldn't be sitting on a bench. It's not like, oh, this is harm black people, so oh well, yeah, but more than likely they harm other people too, because it has to do with a lack of integrity, and a lack of morals. Anyway, you guys, I feel like I've gone too long. I think I'm going on about 30 minutes, like 32 minutes on this, and I'm going to really try my best to keep everything moving forward for 20 minutes, okay? Thank you for joining. If you know any attorneys, please get them involved. I want you guys to see that. I want you guys to see this. I want legal or lawyers to look and use their professional opinion. I think you guys are kind of limited in what you can do or can't do. If you're a law student, leave a message, but I want you guys to share this, and I want you guys to help me with my GoFundMe. The GoFundMe is for legal fees. And I know I keep on talking because I just want you to know I'm an American, and I love America, and I love our country, and it's all kind of corruption going on, and I really want to use this thing that happened to me to make change. We need to make an example of the judges, of the police officers, of all the appeals court. It was appeals judge, justice for the appeals court, and the clerk. They retired. Like, I'm just going to show you how this man makes over $180,000. Last time I checked, he was like at 220, 225. When I look, it's at 185, but he probably gets money for other things. Okay, these different parties and people are actively hurting me, preventing me from getting part of my marital assets and proper spousal support from a white man who grew up privileged his whole life. My husband was married. My husband was raised by a very wealthy doctor, very wealthy. And to give you some example, he was a partner in a radiology partnership, and like my husband would tell me stuff. Like one year, and this is probably frequently, after they split up the profits, one year he told me specifically they had an additional $250,000 each. Okay, so after their regular pay, his father got an additional $250 just extra after pay. And this is how this man grew up. And so these different people who are part of harming me, they rather harm a black woman, risk their job, to make this white male abusive alcoholic pay what he's due. My son takes care of me. My son, my black son, has been supporting me since this happened. I'll go into more detail of everything, but anyway, please share this video. If you know someone in a legal position, lawyers or whatever, I just want them to view my video and maybe comment and help me with the GoFundMe. I want lawyers involved because lawyers, you guys go to school to be attorneys and you study, you work hard, you perfect your ability to litigate and argue. In instances where the judges abuse their discretion, really prevents you from winning or gaining justice in this case, in cases like this. So I really want lawyers to get involved so we can make an example of this. It's not just the judges, it's the state of California. Yeah, I've gone too long. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate you. This is part 1. Please watch the video on YouTube or share the website, Judge Sarah Heidel is a racist. Thank you, you guys. I'll see you in the next video.